What is going on, guys? Elite Wolf here. Today I'm going to do something new, a new series that I thought I was going to do. I'm sure you can tell by the title now what it is. But, yeah, I'm going to be doing like a little podcast here today. This is going to be episode 1. I don't know what I'm going to do with this later. It's not only going to be Star Wars talk. It could be a bunch of other stuff, anything I'm really interested in. And I might bring in like special guests or something for it. I don't know, but today in this video of the podcast, I'm going to be talking about Star Wars Legends. Uh, so yeah, some people. Here's the thing: some people really like Star Wars Legends, and I'm not going to say a lot of people don't like it, because a lot of people do like it, and there's some people that think that it's a little too confusing, maybe, or just don't like it because they think it's weird. I don't know, and I'm just kind of gonna give my opinions on it and like my favorite things about Legends. I don't know how long these videos are gonna be. They could be 15 from anywhere to 15 to like 50 minutes. I don't know. I guess it depends on the topic. Cause I can rant about Legends for like hours, and I'm not gonna rant about new Star Wars or anything like that. Not yet. Not in this episode. Maybe in another one. But today I'm just gonna be talking about Legends. And giving my opinions on Legends. So let me get right into it. So so Legends, in case if you didn't know, is basically so Disney bought Lucasfilms. I don't know, 2012 I think it was, February of 2012, something like that. And there had been like 40 years of books, games, and like stuff like that were built up to expand on the lore of Star Wars, and Disney classified everything except for the movies and the Clone Wars TV series, and that they were legends, and that they were no longer canon, and that only the movies and the Clone Wars was canon, and that they were going to build on their own canon. Now, this is kind of an unpopular decision because this has been 4 decades of work that they've been doing, and just for them to come in here and like just swipe it all away, it was kind of ridiculous. But I think people were a lot more open-minded about this than they are now that we see what they have done with the franchise. But so the people are kind of like, okay, well, let's see what they can do with this. And what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, and they release, what was it? Was it Rogue One or Force One? I think it might have been Force Awakens first. Force Awakens first. Let's go with that. So they released Force Awakens. I want to say that people hated it, but I think that they thought it was kind of anticlimactic. I still think that it was really anticlimactic, but it did set up for what could have been a great episode 2 of the series they were going on, or not episode 2, like, I guess second movie that Disney made. So like it could set up for a really good next movie in this trilogy. And uh and then Rogue One comes out, and people really liked Rogue One. I mean, Rogue One was alright. I think it wasn't like the greatest Star Wars movie of all time, but I thought it was alright. And hypes builds up for the new Star Wars movie. We're like, oh well, we're gonna get Snoke's background, we're gonna get this and this, and it just never happens. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about Legends. I found myself ranting about Star Wars again, which I think a lot of people find ranting because, well, they've kind of messed up the franchise. But let me go back to the glory days of Legends. And Legends goes really back in the history of Star Wars. Like, it goes way back to like the Old Republic. And let me start off with the Old Republic. Uh, it goes farther back than that in Legends, but I want to start with the Old Republic because this is like some of my favorite Legends content. And the Old Republic, Knights of the Old Republic games, those games were so good. So I do want to talk about that. and which is exactly what I'm gonna do. So yeah, let me just change my setup here real quick, because I have a feeling this might be a while, because I can rant about Star Wars for a while. All right, but all right. So I forget. It's like Old Republic. So there's Revan and well, these are the main people of I think. So there's Revan, who is like in the thumbnail. He's the one with the mask and stuff, and then there's Bane. This is after they've turned to the dark side already, but they were Jedi's, and they fought in the Mandalorian Wars, which is like wars against the Republic and Mandalorians, if I'm correct. It's been a while since I played Knights of the Old Republic, and it really, and they do. Revan's like a Mandalorian slayer, basically. He kills a lot of Mandalorians in the war, and he turns to the dark side. The good stuff starts when he turns to the dark side, and then he was betrayed by his apprentice Darth Bane. And then he forgets all of his memory, and that's where the Knights of the Old Republic 1 starts. And so, like, you create your character and stuff, and then you go through, and then you're on the ship and stuff, and it's being infiltrated by Sith. The game is really good, and honestly might be one of the greatest role-playing games to date. Like, I don't think there's not that many things that can rival it, to be honest. It's really good. The way that there's like so many different choices you can do, and they all honestly affect your like the outcome and stuff. It's so good. But anyways, he remembers everything. He he has a baby with he has a child with that one girl. I forget her name. Bastila Shan, something like that. I think that's what it is. But and then that goes on to be a part of Knights of the Old Republic 2, I'm pretty sure. But and I don't know too much about Knights of the Old Republic 2, except there's like Darth Nihilus, and you have to stop him and stuff. And Darth Nihilus is also a really cool bit of Legends. I'll get into him later. But let me continue with Knights of the Old Republic, and then like Revan's redeemed to the light side. He kills Darth Bane, and then yeah, so and then it goes to Darth Nihilus. Now, let me tell you, Darth Nihilus is one of the coolest Sith characters ever. Now, let me tell you, it's not really even his appearance or anything like that, but he's like a living dark side. Like, he's a living force that just drains everything, basically. Any life around him, kind of. And that's in a way. He has, like, the force drain, and he does this so much that he needs to feed off of this. Like, he'll die if he doesn't do this. And then he, like, feeds off planets. He, like, drains entire planets. And it's really cool. He's really powerful. But, yeah, Darth Nihilus as a character is really cool. But probably one of my favorite Legends characters is Darth Revan. And he's just he's a cool character with, like, a cool backstory, just a cool story in general. But let's skip forward a lot into one of like my second favorite Legends character, or just one of my second favorite Star Wars character in general, to be honest. Let's skip forward to Starkiller, or the Apprentice, or whatever you want to call him. So I think this takes place. It happens. Okay, I don't really know the timeline, but it's like original trilogy time. So, Darth Vader trains a secret Okay, so gosh, I'm stuttering here. So Darth Vader invades like an Ewok village, and then because he senses like a force sensitive person there, and it's Galen Merrick's. I don't know how to say it, and I kind of forget the name. Starkiller's dad, and Vader kills Starkiller's dad, and then he saves Starkiller. I'm not gonna use his real name because I forget it, and saves Starkiller and trains him, gives him the name Starkiller, and makes him a Sith assassin. So he's basically Darth Maul, but for Vader, and a lot more powerful than Darth Maul. And So you kind of go through that. You kill several Jedi, uh, and then you meet this one. I forget his name again. It's been a while since I completed it. I've completed 1 and 2. I'll get to 2 later, but these are the events of the first one. It's like a general. He's an old Jedi. And in the fight, you blind him, and then you're kind of like brought to the light by him. You're not really brought to the light, but you're not as close to the dark side by now because you've killed a bunch of people. You kill this one. Okay, so something that's really cool is you visit basically the Jedi Temple. Well, no, that's not it. It's not the Jedi Temple. It's there's this one this guy turned crazy, and he's a part of he was in the Jedi, and you fight him, and he has like this makeshift kind of like Jedi Council in there. It's filled with junk. It's really cool. The entire game was really good and cool, and it just was a great bit of lore for the time. And yeah. So let me continue. And then he goes through, and he takes down an entire Star Destroyer in the first game, like with the Force. He brings it down onto the planet. Like that's pretty powerful stuff. And then in the end, in the good ending, which is the which is the canon Legends ending, I should say. He he has like a lightning battle with Emperor Palpatine. He saves his friends, and he loses. Emperor Palpatine kills Starkiller, and then it goes on to the second game. In the bad ending for the first game, he just kills Darth Vader and becomes like another Darth Maul for Emperor Palpatine, basically. Well, no, I'd say another Darth Vader for Emperor Palpatine, kind of. And then in the second game, you're a clone of Starkiller, and like towards the game, it's like, oh well, no. He's like, no, I'm not a clone. I'm the real one. And in the end, in you know that you really are a clone, and you go to like the cloning facility, and there's a bunch of Star Killers. They're messed up ones. They weren't right, and like you're having like flashbacks and stuff through the entire game. And that final battle with Vader, I'll tell you what, that level is so amazing. I love it, and it's just voice acting, everything. It's so good. And even after I finished the game, I think I finished that last level like 20 times at least because I love that last level. It's just so fun. And so you do that, and then I think in the good ending you capture Darth Vader, and yeah, and in the bad ending you go to execute him, and then like another Star Killer comes out and kills you. Something like that. Uh, yeah, and it's just they're all really good games, like gameplay wise too. But the story in it, like I said, it adds onto the lore a lot, and the Legends was just so good. And what can you name in the new canon that was really super interesting? Like I can't name a single thing. Like the Last Jedi wasn't too good. You know, it's not as good as Legends. I'll tell you what. And what's something else Legends that's really good? Like the only thing that I can tell you that canon is a lot, well, the changes that they've made to a lot of characters. Uh, like Boba Fett's character used to be kind of like a sheriff kind of dude, not like a really cool bounty hunter. I mean, he's still cool, but I like the canon Boba Fett a lot better than the Legends Boba Fett. It's just kind of like nitpicky stuff that I really like. And I'm not saying that canon does everything wrong, because it doesn't. I mean, but the main movies, they could do a lot better, especially with Disney's budget and stuff. I mean, they could do super good, but they just don't have the writers. I don't think they do, or they don't have the correct writers writing the movies. But like I said, I'm not here to rant. I'm here to talk about Legends. All right. So, and they were just great games, great books. I've read a lot of the books. Tales of the Bounty Hunters, for example, It was really good. It tells tales of the bounty hunter, and they're all like connected somehow. It all goes around the Han Solo hunt, and like the first one was the one assassin droid or something, and it was like when you really read into it, there's like there's a lot cooler stuff for these bounty hunters because like the robot droid was tapped into the Death Star at one point, so like he had like a robot army basically, but they were starting to get destroyed because he had a call out for it, and then like he tapped himself into the Death Star right before it was destroyed. So like the Assassin's droids could have ruled the universe by now, like in the Star Wars universe, but Luke Skywalker destroyed the Death Star, so like it destroyed the assassin droid along with it. And what's another one? I didn't really read through Bossk's. It wasn't really that interesting. But then there was like I'm trying to think of another one. There was another good one. There was these two guys. There's a droid, and then there's like an alien looking dude, and like I forget I forget their name, and it's bothering me. But it like he couldn't breathe like regular oxygen, so he had to have like this gas mask on that had like something from his planet that he needed to breathe in, and he was gonna use the prize money to get a new pair of lungs because his lungs are like bad, and he was gonna start up like his own bounty hunter academy with the rebels. I think it was. Yeah, I think he actually joined the rebels in Legends in the book. Him and the droid. And it was just really cool stuff like that, and like they start up their own little like bounty hunter academy. And then in Boba Fett's was obviously the best one. Boba Fett always he like killed a bunch of the assassin droids. I'm pretty sure he killed no he didn't. But he did a bunch of cool stuff like that. He got Han Solo, and it reveals even in that book that he wasn't killed by the Sarlacc pit. And oh yeah, there was Dengar. That's the other person. So one second, let me put Boba Fett to the side. So Dengar's was really cool. Like he gets it tells his backstory. It reveals why he has a hatred for like Han Solo and stuff. He has a hatred for Han Solo because like it's the reason Han Solo's the reason that it ruined his face. And then like Dengar kind of has a love interest in it, and it was really good. And then Dengar gets thrown into like just out in Tatooine somewhere, like tied up by Boba Fett, and I'm pretty sure it was. Oh yeah, because Dengar was gonna kill Jabba the Hutt, and Jabba the Hutt ordered like a hit on him basically. But and Dengar survives, and I'm pretty sure in the end he just goes off on like a different planet or something like that. I forget it. I read it like a little while ago. But back to Boba Fett. He survives the Sarlacc pit, and then he trains up again, and he's doing a lot better. He was healed and stuff or whatever, and then he encounters Han Solo again, and he battles him, and they're both really worn out, about to die, and they have like one last duel or something like that. I think they had a duel. I think it was, and I'm pretty sure, obviously. I think, yeah, because Yusan Vong. That's who else? Yusan Vong. Because Han Solo obviously killed Boba Fett, because Han Solo's in the Yusan Vong stuff. And speaking of Yusan Vong, I'm done with that part. So I'm gonna go on the Yusan Vong. The invasions, like the sagas that Legends had, were so much better. Like the Vong. I'm just gonna call him the Vong for now because I don't want to continue saying it. Like the Vong invasion. Okay, so let me just the attention to detail that these books had. So there was a book about Darth Maul. I'm pretty sure Darth Maul is in like an underground fighting arena, and he fights this weird alien that's like has like this serpent kind of thing, and Darth Maul is getting beaten up at first, but then like he finds a way to obviously kill it, it turns out later that we will know because of the Vong invasion that was a Yusong Vong. So I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. I'm probably am. I'm terrible with pronunciations. It was Yusong Vong. So and then it goes to the Vong invasion, and Chewbacca dies, saving like some people. A lot of people died in this saga, obviously, and obviously the rebels won. It was really good, and then like even the weird stuff in Legends, like the really weird stuff in Legends, I really like. Like I love to read about that stuff. I love to watch videos on that stuff because it's like not commonly known like Star Wars stuff. And it's really cool. There's like another dimensions and stuff. It's really cool. There's like hyperspace. Everything's so has so much attention in detail. Everything kind of has a story. Everything has a story. And it's so awesome. And I'm sad that they got rid of it because Legends was so good. So good. And I'm trying to think. I had something else I was going to say. I don't know too much about the second Galactic War or whatever. I don't know too much about that. But and then there's Thrawn and stuff. I'm pretty sure Thrawn has been reintroduced into canon with Rebels, and I hate Rebels, but I'm not even gonna get into that. In fact, I've only watched like an episode of it, and I hated it. But and Thrawn was super cool in Legends. I don't know how he is in canon. I haven't kept up with canon stuff at all, basically. I'm trying to think of other stuff, like major stuff that happened in Legends. I think I've really covered it all. Oh, like Palpatine's rebirth too. They might be doing that in the new movie. I don't know, but Palpatine kind of kind of figured a way to never die because every time he'd get older, he'd die. He'd transfer in the Force to another body, and then he'd keep doing it, and then it was finally stopped somehow. I forget. A lot of this stuff I forget, but I was just kind of thought I'd talk about it. And like I said, just so much attention to detail that I don't think Disney really does, or at least they don't do it well. And even if they did do attention to detail, it's not really interesting stuff, so you don't really care. And it's like, and there's no characters you really care about. Like, you'd care if Luke Skywalker died. They'd be like, oh my gosh, Luke Skywalker just died. You cared if Darth Vader died. It's like, that's Darth Vader, he's really cool. You cared if Emperor Palpatine died. It's like, well, he's a bad guy, you know? It has emotional effect. If Rey died, it's like, oh, Rey died. If Finn died, it's like, oh, well, Finn died. If basically if Snoke died, you know, I didn't feel anything. I was like, oh, they didn't give him a backstory? You know what? That had a surprise factor. You want to know what? I'll give him that. It had a surprise factor. Because I was like, oh, they're going to kill off him already? With no backstory, no nothing? You know, when Yoda died, it was like, oh my gosh, Yoda died. You know, this old master. It's like, wow. And then, you know, Snoke dies. And, I mean, even they somehow messed up Luke's. Like, why did they kill Luke Skywalker, though? Why? What was the entire purpose for that scene? It was trying to be emotional, I guess, but it didn't hit the mark, and it just ended up looking stupid. And they just the point I'm trying to get at is they have no characters to care about. You don't care about any characters. You don't care what happens to them. You're like, you know who's the good and the bad. You're like, oh well, Kylo's obviously bad, and the rebels are good. First Order bad. So let's root for the rebels because they're good, or let's root for the First Order because they're bad. If you're that kind of person, and but there's no characters that you care about. Like, I'm trying to think of, like, you know, you wouldn't want Darth Vader to die. I mean, he's even bad, but he was bad, but he was a really cool character, so you wouldn't want him to die. And I'm trying to think of other dark side people. But my point is, it wasn't just, oh well, these guys are bad. Let's not root for them, or let's root for them. It's, oh well, this character's really cool. I like his story. I like all this. Like Boba Fett, most people rooted for Boba Fett because they really liked Boba Fett's character. It's like, oh well, let's root for Boba Fett because he's cool. He has a cool backstory. He's so cool. He's the baddest bounty hunter around. And it's like, okay, well, who do you care about like that in the new trilogy, like the Disney trilogy? There's nobody. In fact, you kind of want them all to die so that the movies would just be over, because they're that bad. And it's just, that makes no sense. Hyperspace ramming, I think it was. That makes no sense. When you're in hyperspace, you're sent to another dimension, and then you come out. You're not just going super fast. And it begs. Okay, I'm getting off and I'm ranting again. Okay, but they don't care. They retcon so much stuff. They do stupid stuff like that. They change so much stuff, and they're not careful about it. And then the old fans, they get mad, and then that's why now we are where we're at. Okay, and I know that they're trying to attract new fans, but it's even more confusing in the new canon. Like, I don't even know what's going on in the new canon. It's like, oh well, is this changed? Like, they change everything, even stuff from the movies. They change even the canon stuff. They uncanify basically. Like, oh well, if this was able to do, then why not this? In Legends, it was a lot more careful if they ever tried to change stuff. And even when they did change stuff, it was usually for the better, and it was really good. But with canon, I can't think of really any changes that they have done that has been right. And I mean, I don't really know where else I can go with this. I think I've gotten my point out there. But in the Legends, it's just, let me try to think of something. You know what? I think that they did lightsaber crystals really cool in canon. I think that they did that really cool. I think that with like where you have to, for a dark side crystal, you have to like make a light side crystal like bleed and feel hatred and stuff. I think that's super cool. I think the Vader comics were really cool. The canon Vader comics, and like to make a white crystal, you have to do kind of the same but light side wise. And I think that was really cool. I think if they made more changes like that, more changes that it isn't just like, oh well, you can mine this crystal and it does this. Adding like a really cool reason and like really cool things, not like, oh well, that's an artificial crystal because crystals can't really feel hatred. They're more light side, and so the dark side has to make artificial crystals. I didn't think that was really cool, and that never really settled right with me. So, like, if there was a dark side of the Force and a light side of the Force, why can't there be like light side crystals and dark side crystals? It never made sense to me. But now that like dark side people can influence crystals, I think that's really cool. Or anybody really can influence crystals. And I think that they've done a couple of changes right, to be honest, in canon. I don't think that everything is terrible. I don't. I think that canon just could do a lot more better, and they could take a lot more things from Legends. The big thing to take away from this podcast or video or just rant or whatever is that canon could do better. They could take a couple of things from Legends and by God, make the movies better. Get somebody that can actually make a good storyline, make characters you like, and like I know I'm trying not to talk about canon and I'm just trying to talk about Legends, but it's hard not to compare Legends and canon to like make a point of how good Legends was, But this is just Legends talk, so let me continue talking about Legends. Although I think I've really gone through every saga. Um, oh gosh, Clone Wars. I'm gonna go back to the games. Star Wars. What's it called? Republic Commando. That game was really cool. You know, it added in depth of like, you saw the commandos. You get to play as one, and it added characters that you really liked. And then in Jedi Academy, it basically does the same. Like you're training under new Luke Skywalker's new academy and stuff, and even in like the old Battlefront 2, you know, even if it's not adding a new lore, it's super cool because like in the old Battlefront 2, you were able to like execute Order 66. You were part of the 501st Legion, which is Vader's fist, and just storming the Jedi Temple and just like executing Order 66. That's something that's such a big part of Star Wars history, and to experience that and be one that was like did a lot of Jedi slaughtering instead of being Anakin. You're like, you know, except for Anakin, the 501st did a lot of it, and the 501st in Legends, I think this could be canon though. You know, they come and save Vader multiple times. Like Vader would have died if it wasn't for the 501st in one instance. So it's kind of like, oh well, you know, even once it's not when in Legends, okay, to kind of end this off because I think this video has gone on long enough. In Legends, even if it wasn't adding new lore, it was still fun and exciting. It still had a story to be told. Everything had a story to be told. And when it was adding new lore, it wasn't messing up old lore. And it was just adding stuff on to make the universe more immersive, much better. But yeah, I think this video is done here. I don't really think I could go anywhere else with it. So if you did like this video, leave a like, subscribe to join the Wolfpack today. Slap the notification bell. Hit the notification bell so you can see when I upload my other one of this video, because it's gonna be like a series for me. This is what I've been talking about, is doing these things. This is my new series I was talking about, podcast. And it's not always gonna be Star Wars, so I'm sorry about that. I said this at the beginning. It could be other stuff, but yeah, subscribe and join the Wolfpack today, and I will see you all in my next video.